Hello, my name is Hlubi Sikhosana, and today we will talk about substance abuse, which is appearing on your life orientation today textbooks on learners grade 7. CAPS documents on page 14 under the what do you get to do? I take away. So what's it deep? CAPS document on page 14 under the content area, health, social and environmental responsibilities. By the end of this lesson, learners should be able to define what is a substance abuse. They should be able to identify and explain the symptoms of someone using the substances. They should also be able to list the common substances that are mostly or often used. So now, going on and talk about the substance abuse, it is very important to understand that there are substances which are very, very dangerous, whereby people have been using for many and many years. Studies shows that about 15% of South Africans have a problems on drug abuse, of which was taken by the country's central drugs authority. It is important also to note that it is not only the issue here in South Africa with the substance abuse which affects the elders. Also the youth is also affected by such things, of which the youth have been using drugs for quite a while. Lockdown changes whereby the COVID-19, there was also a change in South Africa due to the introduction of COVID-19. The introduction of COVID-19 in South Africa has caused so much damage, especially to our youth, whereas our youth, they were unable to go to school and some of them were bored and they had so much time at home. Our youths then started to use the substances, in which they abused the substances. Specifically, they started to use the drugs. So now, going on and talk about on what we have spoken about regarding our objectives on the substance abuse. Substance abuse, as you can see here on the whiteboard, it refers to the harmful use of illegal drugs and alcohol that changes or causes a change in the human behavior and the sanity state of mind. There is quite a number of listed substances that are well known, listed also on our life orientation today textbook for grade 7 learners. Some of them are alcohol, inhabitants, marijuana, methamphetamine, and mendrags. These drugs are very, very dangerous. Some of them are not even mentioned, things like cocaine, like tic, and so many others. Alcohol, for instance. Alcohol is a very, very dangerous drug, of which is well known. Alcohol is dangerous in such a way that people who are drinking alcohol, they overdo it, and a person when is drunk is unable also to think out of his state of mind, is unable to concentrate, is unable to focus, and a person then does things of which are horrible, whereby the person can talk and say things of which he will later regret in life, or will later regret once he's sober. Alcohol is dangerous, and a lot of people have been drinking alcohol and walking in the street, being chased by cops and so many other things. Inhabitants, for instance, also inhabitants. Inhabitants refers to the drugs that are being used, like the glue, the person with the gases, the inhalation of the drugs also, which is very dangerous. Marijuana, methamphetamine, and mendrags, they are also dangerous drugs, of which our youth has been involved in such things, of which they are very dangerous, and they cause a change also in the state of mind, where a person is unable to focus. So now, We will mention also about identifying and explaining the symptoms of someone who's using drugs. Someone who's on drugs and alcohol abuse is then noticed by so many changes, of which are well known by some of us, and those changes could be the behavior. Obviously, you notice the behavior if someone starts to talk a lot, unnoticeably, or maybe if someone starts now to sleep a lot. Some people get insomnia, where a person can't sleep at night. Some people get to be a little bit dizzy. Out of a sudden, a person is sweating, a person is lazy, or a person has so much energy of which you don't understand where does it come from. Some people get angry, and a person will be, whereas a person will be grumpy, a person will be aggressive. There are so many symptoms of which are well known, and people tend to notice when someone is using drugs. Some people will be foaming in their mouths. Some people are even unable to walk, they are unable to stand on their own. Diseases that can also happen to such people, like the heart attacks, the loss of blood, or the blood flows, it could be low as well. They could also be having the BP, which is the hypertension. Such things are possible for people who are using drugs. And those are the symptoms and all the signs of how then do we tell if someone is on drugs. So now we'll then be talking about what is the main reason why people are taking drugs. Then if you can think about it, is it because of the peer pressure from friends? Is it because maybe they're in a household, maybe the parents are not able maybe to afford certain things that are needed by learners, by their children, Is it because of you not being able to have certain things in life? Maybe then you find yourself bored and there's nothing else of which I can do except taking drugs. There are so many reasons. Some are saying it's peer pressure from friends. Some will tell you that there's this thing of being obsessed about something in such a way that people end up not knowing what to do anymore. You look at those reasons and you ask yourself something. Is it worth it to be part of a person who's taking drugs? Is it worth it to take drugs? It is then important to ask yourself a very simple question. How important is it to study and do something else if you want to study? If you want to engage into something that take your mind off things, is it drugs the really solution for that? You think about it. You know the answer. But my main advice is that drugs and alcohol abuse are very, very dangerous. It is then my advice, and I recommend everyone to stay precautious and not take any of these things. My name is Sikhosana. Thank you so much for your time.